And then I'm going to start streaming on Instagram as well.
Hot damn.
Yo, can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Nice.
Hey, you got two people.
I have two of me.
Wow.
Sexy. My dream come
What are
true.
What are you doing with the other you?
You'll find out.
Oh, yeah, you got to turn one of them microphones off, buddy.
I'm working on it.
It's going to go wee, 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 wee. You know how it gets like larger, bigger? We're still
All right, it's
all about that, yeah.
It's good now. All right.
Well, I thought you were frozen for a second.
Are we live?
Baby, come back.
Oh, I don't. Can anyone hear me? I feel like I'm talking to nobody.
I can hear you.
Oh my God, that was a long.
Nobody would answer.
God damn it! Got a lot of things going on in this. You should see my computer screen right now. It's just like I got all these windows open.
It's awesome.
Are they still called Windows when you're on a Mac? Because that's why they named Windows Windows, right? Because of all the different windows you have on the.
They're called frames.
Frames.
Oh, I don't know. I'm making stuff up.
Oh,
Sounded real though, right?
It did sound real.
Yeah, I don't know. Oh, we got it. We got another one.
We got 3 Collins going on right now.
I don't know why it's doing that.
We just wanted to make sure that Holly didn't feel like she was the only person, so Colin's like tripling himself to make it seem like, you know.
Maybe, Nick, maybe they're just called screens.
Oh, okay. Maybe.
I got a few screens open. I don't know. I guess not.
Tabs. Tabs. I think they're called tabs.
Yeah, tabs. Yes, that's it. That's it.
That's the one.
Colin, 3 of you isn't enough. Where's another one?
Can he do
I don't know
4?
why. There we go.
We lost one.
Oh, come on.
All right, there we go.
WW13.
All right.
This is our 13th. Hey, this is the 1-year anniversary of Whiskey Wednesday.
Wow.
Is it really?
It is.
I'm excited.
Are you?
Okay, I can leave that one for now. I'll be done setting up in a minute.
All right.
Colin.
Oh my God.
All right. So what do you guys are we live right now or no?
I don't know.
What do you mean you don't know?
I haven't checked. I
Oh,
hit
I'll
go
check.
live, but I haven't
check.
checked yet.
Ah.
If we are, everyone's left because of how boring this is.
Yep. All right, but that's too bad. They're gonna miss the fun thing that I'm gonna do.
I didn't realize that I was muted that whole time. And
Oh my God. I thought for sure you were just ignoring us.
Yeah, we're good to go on Facebook.
I thought
Okay.
you guys were ignoring me because I kept saying, "Hey, while you guys are like fucking around, I have a quick story to share," and then you just kept
Ooh.
disregarding it. But then I was like, "Oh my God, I'm on mute." Duh. So guess what, guys? I have a quick story to share
All right.
while you guys are fucking around.
We're live on Instagram too.
So I went to a concert recently.
Godsmack.
And
Was it
That's
Godsmack?
disturbing.
Disturbed?
No. Yeah, it was Breaking Benjamin and Disturbed.
Ooh,
But Becky and I left after Breaking Benjamin. The clouds were rolling in. It was looking real sketchy, but it never rained. But that isn't the point. The point is that I got home and realized I no longer had my ID in my little wallet.
Oh boy.
And Becky was like, "Yeah, you dropped it in the parking lot." I was like, "What in the world?" So I was like, crap. Had to go on and order a new ID. But then I get a I get an email, the Informed Delivery Digest that shows you a picture of everything you're getting in the mail that day.
Uh-huh.
Yep.
And I was like, what is this envelope? It's like it's like just like a letter from somebody who lives on Milton Ave. And I did Google them and look them up on Facebook, and it was just like a guy. And I was like, what in the world could this be? It was my ID. He found my ID in the parking lot and he mailed it to me.
Oh,
He
that's
said,
nice.
found this in
Wow.
the amphitheater
Wow.
parking
That's
lot.
happened to me a
Hope
few
you
times with
enjoyed
my
the
wallet.
show. Isn't that nice?
That is very nice. Did you get an address so you can give him a box of Twisted Teas as a payment?
I know. Well, I mean, there is, it does have his address on his return address on there. So I feel like, I need to send him something. That was very nice of him. He could have just kicked it and said,
Send him a
lost
severed
my-
head.
what? A severed head. Yeah, great plan.
It is good.
I thought that was very nice. It made me feel like there was a little bit of kindness and looking out for each other out there in this world.
Yeah, I've dropped my wallet so many different places, and people have found where I lived and brought it back to me,
Wow.
even with
I've
like
Never had that happen
hundreds of
before.
dollars in it. One was just right outside on my road. It just was on top of my car. It fell off. Some guy who lives a couple miles away was passing it on his bike, saw it, and ended up finding me on Facebook and calling me. And
Wow.
there's some good people out there.
Do you put your phone number? How'd they call you? Is your phone number in your
He
wallet?
said he found him on Facebook.
Oh, found him on
Found-
Facebook. I see.
And then
Yeah.
I ended up giving him my phone number on Facebook, and then he wanted to verify with me, like, all right, well, what's in the wallet? Wanted to make sure it was really me, and all that stuff.
Yeah,
And I told him exactly. I'm like, there's two $10 bills, 320s and 5. You know exactly what
You would know that. I have no idea exactly how many 20s I have in my wallet.
I have no idea.
Actually,
have
I
no
do
clue.
know exactly how much 20s I have in my wallet. It's 0, and also 0 10s and 0 5 and 0
Yep.
1s.
Somebody
it's
gave me a $2 bill yesterday for a tip.
Oh, nice. Those are fun.
A $2 bill. Wow.
Yep, a
I
$2.
have a $3 bill, y'all.
Okay.
No.
Do you have a
Wah, wah.
No.
hot dog water or chocolate flavored hot dog or whatever that CD was called? What was it called? Chocolate hot dog.
Chocolate starfish and the hot dog flavor.
To drink, and I need to get my phone so I can.
Poop. You need to poop?
I really,
No?
I just have to poop. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, you could. This is a safe space.
Yeah.
We already talked about our therapist schedules.
We did.
So-
I can't. We got deep already on this.
Yeah.
I didn't.
Oh, that might have been before we were
Only
live.
one.
But
Therapy.
all right. So what are you guys drinking?
Well, give me a second. I'm gonna go get one.
You can
Alright.
get-
No therapist for me.
Holly, are you drinking something that is not Twisted Tea?
Actually, I am. But
Oh,
I'm a little disappointed. It's not delicious. I had to put Crystal Light in it. So, if it makes
well, that's
Um,
a shame.
I got this this Mai Tai cocktail thing. It's not bad. It's just really strong. It just tasted
Where did-
really strong. So
where
I
did
just
that
added
come from?
some water and some blackberry lemonade Crystal Light. But I also have some Twisted Tea on the side, and I have some Rebel Stoke over here for shot time.
What is that? A pineapple?
Hmm?
Is it the pineapple? The pineapple Revel Stokes, or what kind is it?
No, I got this one is roasted pecan.
Oh, okay.
There's apple.
Oh, I haven't had that one.
They also had the cinnamon one, but I don't really like the cinnamon one. It's very sweet. It tastes more like Fireball to me, and I don't know. It's
Yeah, Fireball is not a good flavor.
Yeah,
peach Rebel Stoke is where it's at. That one is the best one.
I think I've had that.
But I know I've tried both of these before. The apple is okay. I don't remember what this tastes like, so I think I'm gonna go with one first.
Where did you get that Mai Tai? Did you get it at a liquor store or was it a gas station?
Yeah, no, I got it at a liquor store. I usually get a different brand. I can't think of what the brand is. Oh, I think the brand is called On the Rocks. And they make a bunch of different ones. They have like a Cosmo, a Mai Tai, a Margarita, an old fashioned. I like the Cosmo one. But then I saw these and I've never tried this one before. So I was like, man, I'll just try this
Mhm.
one instead. But I should have stuck with the other
It,
ones.
it looks familiar to me. Like I've seen them at liquor stores before. I've never gotten them before.
Yeah, there were a couple of this brand. They had a couple of different flavors. There was definitely a dirty martini they had as a flavor. And then like two other ones. I can't remember, but it's not terrible, but it's definitely strong. I don't have any ice in it. That's probably the problem. I don't have any ice and it needs to be like diluted a little bit.
You don't have
But-
any ice?
No, I have an ice maker in my freezer, but it needs like a new filter. To me, the ice tastes good, so I just don't use it. So I'll buy.
If you've ever had like nasty tasting ice like that, it just ruins your palate.
The whole entire thing. You're screwed. Like you put one nasty piece of ice in your drink, and the whole thing is
Yeah, the whole thing is completely destroyed. Yeah,
Right.
Sounds
it's
horrible. I
awful.
don't want to do that.
That
So-
reminds me, I need to change my water filter.
Yeah,
I
I gotta
we-
find,
if
yeah.
I use the ice or the water.
Uh-oh, I might not have any new water filters. Oh man.
Oh no.
All right. Yeah, I think Nick has been gone long enough that he did legitimately go poop.
He just went and made ice. He went and made ice, and he's
He
waiting.
went and he made ice.
that's not all he made. If it's in the bathroom.
I really
think-
like
I-
that you can buy the little circle balls of ice, but you get 6 of them and it's $6 for like 6.
That's-
They're big.
Yeah, you might as well just get the thing to make it.
Right. Exactly. Good point. You know what? Didn't think of that, but that is a good point.
Yeah, because that probably costs $6 as well, and then you can make ice forever.
Yeah, what an ice tray?
Forever.
Yeah, like an ice tray. Yes, that is in the shape of a sphere.
All right.
What a novel idea.
Wow. It's gotta exist.
Yeah.
What are you?
Colin, where are you going?
I was turning on like the
Oh,
exterior
it's
lights
like-
now that it's starting to get dark.
Ah,
And now I'm in my kitchen, just hanging out.
So we not see you behind a fake background. It's like you
I
don't
am-
just live in Cellar and Folly space.
That is my normal background because that's actually I have a wall that's just painted Cellar and Folly. So that's why it looks like that. Yeah.
No, you do not.
No, I don't. But I should.
I knew it.
I should do that.
I, did
I
not
don't
poop,
see why
guys.
you
I didn't
don't.
poop.
I mean,
I think it's a wasted opportunity
yeah,
that
exactly.
I have not done that. And I would just say that I have really poor interior design skills because I don't
Yeah,
have that yet.
And
Yeah.
obvious zero motivation.
Yeah, exactly.
You might want to talk about all this with your therapist next Wednesday.
I will be like, hey, I was on this live stream and they were talking about how I don't have a wall that is black with a giant door. What do you think the deeper meaning of this is?
Right.
Like,
For meaning. Caleb
Yeah.
wouldn't know because he doesn't go to therapy, but
Yeah.
yeah,
maybe I
Yeah.
should, but I don't.
yeah.
do you ever feel the need, or are you just not that kind of guy?
No, I've never felt like I needed to go to a
That
therapist for
probably-
any reason.
That probably
Well,
means you
I think
should
it,
go.
it has a very poor connotation. Like, I don't necessarily go
I don't-
or deal with it to like talk about like sensitive mushy shit. It's more to just get better perspective on things that are happening in life.
Yeah.
I think it's a
You
good
know,
thing. Sure.
It's a really good thing. It's a really good thing for just proper frame of mind.
Yeah, just for literally anything.
Yeah,
Just-
exactly.
Another
It sucks
I
though,
like the
because
way
I
that,
think
you
it
know,
takes, like, for me, I feel like it takes someone.
I mean, it's 2023. It's not like it's, you know,
Nick,
the
are you
dark
muted?
ages.
Yeah, I was muted this whole time. Jesus.
oh my god.
He's been here for 15 minutes.
I know.
Oh, what drink did you get, Nick?
He's gonna
Oh
come
my
back with like
God, I forgot. I left my drink downstairs.
What's
he
up, Tony?
didn't come up with anything.
Hi, Tony.
Hi,
Hi Tony.
Holly.
I can't see you. Oh, there you are. Oh, hello, kitty. What are you drinking, Tony?
I still have an echo.
Let's see. There's mead. There's whiskey. There's rum. And I should add some of the energy drink I got.
Oh shit! Wow. That's it. That's
We'll keep it going.
Caleb, what are you drinking?
Well, I'm on beer number 2, and that'll be it for me. The first one was Southern Tier Caramel Pumpkin.
Ooh,
the new
it's a
one.
little early for pumpkin, but
They're all
man,
over
that
the
sounds
place.
good.
This
Oh,
one,
no, are all
this
over.
one is Founders the Headless Gourdsman, and this one's awesome. This one is 13.1%.
Wow.
That's my
That's a pretty hefty. That's a pretty hefty beer. Does it
Yeah.
taste like it's 13? Does it taste like a 13%
No.
or
It-
is
it
it smooth?
Oh,
It really doesn't.
Nice.
I mean, it's very flavorful, lots of spices going on, and yeah, I wasn't surprised. I love Founders, so
which one did you
Nice,
like?
nice.
I know people
Well-
that like the regular pumpkin, but I
yeah,
didn't know.
yeah, well, yeah. That's
Caramel.
Southern Tier. I had the
Right.
pumpkin, but I had the caramel pumpkin, and I've never seen it before. I just saw it today and had to pick up a 4-pack.
Which
Yeah.
one did you like better?
I like as
The
if-
like
what-
the Foco or the caramel.
the actually I like the Headless Gourdsman a little bit better. It just has a lot of flavor going on. I know it's crazy, but it also has more of a whiskey flavor to it because of the high percentage that it has. It tastes less like a beer, more like a spirit, which
Oh,
I
bet.
like that a little bit better.
How's it going, everybody? Hey, we got Drew with us. Hey, Drew.
What's up, Drew?
Oh, how are you? Good to
Great.
see
How
you.
are you? Good to
Well,
see
we have
you.
another.
Yeah, good to
Yeah.
see you too.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's
Jumping
been a
to
while.
some jumping events. I was doing a tasting of Redwood Empire tonight at a local pub. So
Whoa.
I run right over from there and come back here, and here I am.
Welcome.
drinking
Welcome.
more.
Nice. Love it. Did we get
Yeah.
to what Colin's drinking? Because this is the first time.
No, we
Colin's-
haven't talked about this at all.
Okay, because
Oh, where am I?
it's
I
we're
forgot
in a
about my phone.
a different state here because Colin never leaves the comfort of his actual computer, but now you're walking around your house gathering things. I'm very
I
interested
know
in
I'm
what's going
doing.
on.
Yeah. All right. Okay. Well, I guess what we can say, Nick, what are you drinking first? It's probably more exciting than what I'm drinking.
So I know it's Whiskey Wednesday, and I know I created Whiskey Wednesday. Actually, Steve Peterson did, but I am not drinking anything tonight. Well, nothing alcoholic tonight. I went to a wedding on Sunday, and I told myself I should probably not drink for a few days. So I'm drinking a little bit of lime sparkling water with a touch of grenadine and a little bit of bitters, just to make it seem like I'm having a cocktail. So
Nice.
yeah,
Nice.
Classy
Just-
Technically, you are
I
having a
know.
cocktail, a virgin.
Okay.
yeah, mocktail, I guess. Yes, mocktail. So that's what I'm drinking tonight. I was gonna see if I could. I told everyone knows my partner Molly. I was like, I'm gonna try to get through Whiskey Wednesday without drinking. She goes, "Good luck." And I said,
Good
"Oh,
luck.
okay."
Good luck. Well, we won't deliberately try to encourage you. There just may be subconscious, pokings. But yeah. All right. But anyway, what I'm drinking today. So almost all of my whiskey all of my booze in general, or like my personal drinking collection, is in storage right now in my attic because I've been moving stuff all around my house, doing some remodeling work, and so I am only drinking Black Label today.
Okay.
Johnny Walker Black Label,
Hmm.
but I'm going to do something with it.
Okay.
I am going
Other
I am
than
going to smoke it.
Wow.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Ah,
Love this.
all
idea.
right.
Yeah. So let's see. I'm gonna try to get this on
He
camera.
just lights it on fire.
Yeah.
lighting
Well,
alcohol
I
up.
no. Well, I'm not gonna light the alcohol on fire. All right. Let's see if I can get this on camera.
Please don't.
And-
do that.
I was like, once the
Yeah.
fire gets to the roof and it hits your
All right.
collection upstairs.
I know.
All right. Hold on a minute.
Do you have the proper?
Let's see
Did
if
you
I-
order one of those like
Oh,
smoking
yeah.
tools? Okay.
Yeah, I have a little like smoking station for it. Yeah.
I was gonna say I see them
I
advertised.
I recently got this. All right, there we go. I have.
Oh shoot!
I got that. All right. Let's see if I can set this up in a way that's not gonna so you guys can like see it. Because I gotta do this in like a funky way. Okay, I'm just gonna try to make it happen with 2 hands. We'll see how it goes.
Okay.
What 2
Woo!
as opposed to 4?
The screen just goes black. We never hear from Colin ever again.
Yeah, you might not.
Colin, this
What do
is
you-
This
very.
takes
Is that
so
just-
long.
Is that oak chips? Like what are those?
Yeah, I am torching oak chips right now. Trying to get a nice good char on these. Good
Sure.
enough. And I'm gonna let that sit for like probably a minute, maybe 2 minutes.
Is that what it
Colin.
says to do?
The
That's
whole
that's like a big one.
for
I like that.
whiskey.
Yeah, it's actually it's not really just meant for whiskey. I could smoke like anything in there, like cheeses or like other types of things too.
Mm.
So I'm gonna have a smoked beverage. Now this is only the second time I've done this. The
You
first
have to
time I
do
did
a-
it.
Now, just for fun.
You have to do it before and after tasting.
Yes. Well,
Oh,
yeah. Well, yeah.
I already know what it tastes like. I've had it 1,000 times.
Well, no, just
And I
for
sipped
us.
on it before.
Give us
I
the
sipped
notes.
on it.
Sipped on it before, but you got to give us the notes and stuff
All right.
before. Yeah.
All right,
Pour-
then
pour
hold on a
yourself
minute.
little bit. I like Black Label. I do.
Oh yeah,
Okay.
it's fine. It's fine.
Yeah, it's
All right,
fine.
let me get it. Let me get a second glass.
If
Black
I-
I was gonna say Black Label was the whiskey that I had a friend of mine who was a single malt drinker. He wouldn't drink anything but single malts. I said, "Here, let me pour you something and see what you think of it." And he drank it and he went, "This is pretty good." And I said, "Well, it's Black Label. It's blended." He said, "Oh, okay. Well, maybe blended is okay."
yeah.
All right.
I like it too. I don't know. Anything else? If you're spending, yeah,
You're gonna laugh at me, but I am a fan of Red Label because it tastes like butterscotch. And so it's my butterscotch whiskey.
Ooh, that's your dessert drink.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know which. I
All
know
right.
they taste like
Nice.
different.
All right, this is ready to come up.
Ooh.
Swirl it. You gotta swirl the lid, man. Swirl the lid. Make it fancy.
Oh, I can't make it that fancy. I'm not a bartender. Come on.
Time.
You're proving yourself wrong on this one, Colin. You got your.
All right.
need-
The before taste, it tastes like Black Label.
Yeah.
That's what it tastes like.
Okay.
You
Yeah,
probably need to do
That's
it a
all
little
it tastes
longer.
like.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. No, that was the before taste. All right, let's
Oh,
taste the
okay.
actual glass here. It smells very smoky.
You have whiskey rocks in there?
Oh yeah, it looks like.
Yeah. Yeah.
Or I was gonna
Okay.
say you should change your ice cube tray because that doesn't look great.
Woo. That's smoky. That's fun.
Now,
That's
does it,
really fun.
do you still taste those? Like, does it do anything to the whiskey itself? Like, sure, it tastes smoky, and you probably like are smelling more of that smoke than you're tasting. Maybe I don't know, but like, like does it change? Like, what does it change?
I don't think it changes it. I don't think it really changes it much. This is the first time I did it with this one, and I did it with Elijah Craig yesterday.
Nice.
And I don't think it really changes the flavor profile. You know, it doesn't necessarily bring out new notes other than like smoke. I mean, it makes the flavor maybe like, I don't know how to describe it. Maybe like a little like heavier, if that makes sense. But otherwise, it just like adds like a smoked kind of sensation to it, which is kind of cool. But
yeah, I would assume that it would like add more of that wood, like more wood kind of.
Yeah, it does kind of give it a little like oak like
You probably need
flavor
to,
to it, but I think that's just that's part of the smoke.
you probably need to let it sit there for longer. I feel like just letting it sit there for like 45 seconds, only like it's just getting the top. So you're mostly like smelling it. And it's like sitting right there. If you let it sit in there for 3 to 5 minutes, it might like infuse into it.
Oh, I'm sure it could. It's just, you know, I couldn't let it sit all day. There's a drink right in front of me that I haven't sipped, and it's already 30 minutes into Whiskey Wednesday.
We figured it out. Everyone figured it out before you did. What you do is you drink yours and then smoke another one right now.
Right now.
And let that sit through the duration of you.
Yeah. See, the thing is, though, I had a beer right before that. Well, I can only have so much. It's Wednesday.
For science.
It's for science.
It's for science. Yeah.
Smoke one now. Just let it sit there like that until the end of the thing.
Well, I could actually take the existing one and smoke it again.
Oh, there you go.
Let's give that a shot.
You're gonna get double smoked. Now you're gonna be
I'll
double.
just double smoke it. It's fine.
Just
like
be
your
baked.
Campfire.
Yeah, my kitchen smells like a total campfire now.
Sure it does. This should be done.
It does smell good though. If you like the smell of campfire, then you're not gonna dislike that.
Ate it.
Okay, well then I will just bring this over to your kitchen and I will smoke this in your kitchen.
Oh boy.
The backyard's a perfect spot for it.
You need to get some Scottish peat, and then you can burn that.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean that's really what I really need. Yeah. Although I don't know if that's very environmentally friendly. We might get in trouble for that one.
You can go find some dirt in the yard, maybe.
Yeah. I mean, I could do some dirt. That would work. Okay, that one is smoking a lot better now.
Nice.
Tony, I'm gonna let that sit for a few minutes.
Tony, what are you drinking tonight? Oh, he started laughing.
Exactly. It's mead, honey wine.
Ooh, nice.
Jim Beam honey.
Oh wow.
A little bit of spice rum, and some Nos.
Yeah, whoa, all mixed together?
Yep.
Oh, you're about to have
Tony.
a great night.
Tony, you like to drink mead?
Yeah.
So I know somebody who makes it. But I've never heard of it. He tells me about it. I have no idea what it is, but if you ever want to try it, I could probably get you a little sample.
Mead? There's a meadery
nice.
walking distance from my house. So,
What the heck is it?
Mead
It's
is
like wine, but with honey inside of grapes.
Yeah, that's what I knew. It had something to do with bees because he also he has bees or something. I don't know. I don't.
nice.
I'm paying a lot of attention when he's talking to me about this. But I know he does it. He makes it. Enjoys it. There's bees involved.
I love that.
Aaron you happen to see this, Tony likes mead. There you go.
Nice. Especially mixing it with the Jim Beam honey probably adds a lot more sweetness to it.
Isn't there a
And-
place near us that makes mead?
Yeah,
Like,
it's
and that's
right,
all
yeah,
I
like,
do?
it's right down the street from I can
Yeah.
walk there. It's right by the Wegmans here in Auburn, New York. Yeah. All right, so Drew, what are you drinking, and what were you drinking before? Let's talk about the event you were just at. Was it also virtual?
No, it was actually at a bar. I went to
Nice.
downtown Greer, which is right between Greenville and Spartanburg, where I live. So it was funny because I realized how little I've been out of the house lately because I've been writing this. I've been writing this book since May, and I have basically only gone out of the house to go to the grocery store, to go to the post office,
Right.
and to go to the bank, and that's it. Otherwise, I have
Wow.
basically spent the entire summer indoors working on this book, and I'm still not done with it, but I'm getting close. So this was really one of the first events I've gotten to go out to, and it was strange because as I was driving down the road, I thought there's traffic, and I haven't had to, usually
Yeah.
I know Greer is like a 10-mile drive, but I was leaving to get there at 6. And so I was right in the middle of traffic. I'm like, where'd all these cars come from? Because I'm usually out at like, 11 o'clock in the morning to
Right.
miss all of that stuff.
Mhm.
So we did, we had a rep come out, and we were doing a tasting of the 3 main Redwood Empire whiskeys. So there's a rye, there's a bourbon, and there's a blend. And they're interesting. They said they're coming out with a bottled in bond soon. A couple of bottled in bonds. They make everything there, so it's not like they're bringing juice in. The bottles are very distinct because of the artwork on the front of them. They use a lot of the what's his name? I'm gonna forget. The guy who national parks and all of that, early turn of the century last. Anyway, he did a lot of artwork, and so a lot of that artwork is used on the front of their bottles. So anyway, that's the whiskey's good. It's probably a little lighter than I enjoy, and maybe a little younger than I like. But there was some nice like strawberry notes and things I wasn't really
Oh, interesting.
used to tasting in whiskeys. And like I say, everything's sourced there, so it's a chance to taste California in a
Sure.
whiskey.
Wow, that's
So
cool.
so I had to come back and ease off and go into drinking some Teeling single grain. So
Nice.
this is
Nice.
an interesting whiskey because I bought it and I just didn't. I was like, well, it's just higher. It's basically single grain whiskey, meaning that it's distilled probably around 85 to 90% alcohol. So I mean, it's really high proof, and then it's of course put into California cab barrels and aged to give it some flavor. And I really didn't get it at first, but isn't it just the way that you get about this far into the bottle and you
I was
go,
just gonna say,
I'm
yeah.
starting to really kind of like this.
Yeah, right.
That's how Holly feels every time she drinks a twisted tea.
Interesting.
No,
Right she's right at the end, be like, you know what? I think I'm starting to enjoy this.
No, that's completely opposite. That's the first sip. The twisted tea is completely different.
Yeah.
Holly, do you by any chance have any idea, if you were to guess, how many twisted teas you've had in your life?
What? Why are you calling me out like that? And
Jeez.
the
That's
box,
not a call out. I can count the number of beers that I've had on like 16 fingers.
the
Oh,
box
that's not
in
true.
the bag has
Probably
one.
not.
Right? Like the bag in the box. This guy, the party pouch.
Party pouch.
They call it that. Okay, that only counts as one. Then I probably had like, I don't know, 1 or 2 dozen twisted teas in my day.
Holly, have you ever had a carbonated twisted tea?
I mean, I've had drinks that like twisted tea but are carbonated, but you know what? Actually, you know what they just came out with, guys? Twisted tea extreme. Okay.
Oh, what does that mean?
Percent.
I
It's
assume
in a
like
little bit
12%.
smaller. They have lemon and blue raspberry for some reason. They're gross. Like, you know, they just have that like 8% flavor. Any
Oh,
kind
yeah.
of drink
Yeah.
when they take for that 5%, like that's why I was interested to see how Caleb felt about that 13% beer, because when you pass over that 5, 6, 7%, it starts to just have that weird taste where you're like, this, it's not like liquor, but it's not just beer either.
Yeah, it turns
So
something else for sure. I just was wondering about the carbonated twisted tea, because when Nick and I had a show at Lakeview Lanes pretty recently, they had twisted tea on tap there.
oh, it's
And-
not carbonated. It's
well,
not.
no, well, when I got the twisted tea on tap, I actually got one, and it was I let you try it. It was carbonated.
Yeah, it was carbonated.
Oh,
Wrong
was-
with it or something.
they must have messed with that. Normally, when you get twisted tea like on tap, it's in its own like barrel, and it kind of sucks because it's warm. There's no way for them to like. It's basically like a party pouch, but they buy it in a gigantic bag instead of just.
This was on the normal tap thing, so I assumed their keg was in a cooler. It was cold, but it was carbonated.
But why would it be carbonated? That's weird.
I don't know. It
No.
was kind of freaking me out. Good thing I
That's the one
lost
thing
like
that
half
I
of the drink though.
is it's not carbonated. I do not like that crazy.
It didn't
Carbonated.
taste bad. It just tasted like
Oh, it was-
carbonated tea.
Tasted decent. It was just weird. I'm like, why is this carbonated right now? Is this gone?
Right. It sounds like they messed up the lines, to be honest, because I don't know why it would be carbonated.
Yeah.
I like Twisted because it tastes like Snapple. It just tastes like straight up Snapple.
Hi, Dad.
Lemonade.
Say, we
and
had
chai.
Moon Man joined us.
Lemonade. What's it
Wait,
mixed
wait,
with?
what-
Lemonade and what?
What'd you say, Dad?
Lemonade and chai fusion.
Oh, love
Oh.
it.
Like that.
Yeah, that's a good one. That's my dad's specialty when he comes to the shop.
What
A little bit
was-
of chai fusion corn whiskey and lemonade.
Lemonade.
What you were making for me the other night, the martini. It was something. It was very similar to that.
No, you came to the shop and got non-Cellar and Folly whiskey. You got a lemon martini with vodka in it. That's what you got.
But there was something that made it taste so good. Wasn't it the peach schnapps or something that you made?
Yeah.
Hello. All right. So don't throw me under the bus.
Oh,
like
that's
that.
right. You got the lemon lemon drop martini, but you put a little bit of peach schnapps in it, or peach liqueur. Yeah.
Right. So yeah, I was trying.
Okay. Nice. Dad, are you getting excited for your trip?
I am. I'm looking forward to it. Monday, I fly out.
Fly out. He's going to Utah, everybody.
Woohoo! Beautiful.
Oh, nice.
Yay.
Are you take lots of pictures?
Tons of pictures. That's why I'm going.
What part are
Please.
you? What part are you going to?
We're going to Bryce Canyon National Park and Zion National Park.
Gorgeous.
Yeah,
Absolutely. I mean, have you been to Bryce before?
I have not.
There is a road there. I actually have it on my Travel Fuels Life blog. You're driving, I take it.
Yeah, we're flying into Vegas and then taking the road trip, 4-hour road trip.
Okay. Yeah, I did a drive up through one of the most incredible drives around. You go up to Bryce Canyon, then you go past Bryce Canyon, and there's another. Is it Canyonlands? I think it's Canyonlands National Park.
Plans, yep. That's the next one.
And then from there I drove down to Blanding, which is where Mexican Hat Rock is. It's a really interesting place. It's down by the Four Corners, And when you drive down through there, there's a place that was used in the filming of the movie Maverick, the James Garner, Jodie Foster movie.
Yep.
That is gorgeous. It is like chocolate mocha mountains as you're driving through. It is the most fascinating thing I have ever seen.
I'll have to investigate it.
Yeah, I think that
some plans already made, but maybe can we do it in a day trip?
you could do it in a day. You probably get to Height, I think, which is the name of the town, Hite, where the canyons are. You're driving right next to the Colorado River, and it goes through a canyon right through there. So yeah, I mean, it's absolutely gorgeous. But I mean, you could get up to Canyonlands, turn around and go back, and you still have seen some really beautiful scenery up through there.
Yep.
So yeah, you'll enjoy it.
Been
Yeah,
to like that side of the country before in general, or is this the first time?
We've been to California. We've been to the Grand Canyon.
Vegas.
Yeah,
right?
we've been up that way, but not actually here. We've been close, but no cigar
I've
kind
never
of.
seen anything like that before, and like the number one thing on my bucket list is to see like real mountains. Like, you know, we have mountains here, but they're covered in trees. It's not the
Right.
same. The mountains that they have in like Utah, things like that.
It's not the same.
It's a totally different thing. I feel like that would just be so amazing. And you have that good camera. Please share the pictures with us, please. I love your other.
Also, next Tuesday night, we're doing a 3-hour telescope tour, they call it.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, there's a place set up with some fairly large telescopes, so we're going to be doing some stargazing and hopefully shoot the Milky Way when I'm out there too.
Nice.
Wow, that's amazing. Is that a picture you took as your background? Right. That's got to be
It
yours,
is.
right? Yeah.
It is?
Yeah.
Yeah,
He's an amazing photographer. He's I love your time lapse stuff you're posting on Facebook now.
yeah. I've been doing photography of the stars and stuff like that. We're in the middle of the Perseid meteor shower, so if you go out on a clear night between now and the 24th, you might be able to see some meteors go by.
Sure, that's behind you right now.
I shot that. Yeah, that's not live. That's just a photo I took, I think, a year ago.
What if it was live? I'd be like, oh my god, Dad, there's a moon behind you. Be careful.
He's on the way to the moon.
He's like, it's not serious. It's like, yeah, whatever.
You got on a plane and went way too far up.
Yeah, well, you know, left, right.
I'm gonna go really old school with this. Back at Disney in Florida, they had this thing called Mission to Mars. They have it now, but it's very different. The Mission to Mars, when I was a kid, when you went, you basically sat in this round room, and there was a film at the bottom in front of you that was the Earth, and then the film at the top was the moon. And then you saw the moon from a distance, and you saw the landing pad that you're on, and then it would take off, and you would watch. This was there simulating you being in a spaceship, watching the Earth get smaller and smaller, and if you look up, you'd see the moon getting closer and closer as you went in. That was
Cool.
that was high tech back then.
That's
That would-
awesome.
What was that?
That would give me a panic attack.
Believe me, it wouldn't. You're sitting in such a huge room. You're looking at this little screen, going, "Oh, that's interesting."
I had to go to the IMAX like at the most. Like
Yeah.
I can't do that for those kind of things. It freaks
So-
me. Freaks
So
me
here's the thing. I went back to this.
Polar Express and I had to book it. I had to leave. They announcement. Like they're like, all right, guys, we're about to start the show. So if anybody can't handle this, get out of here now. And I was like, I gotta go. Like, but yeah, too submersive is too much.
So the next time I end up going, I go with my stepson, and he's like, "We gotta go on Mission to Mars." So I'm like, Okay, well, it's going to be kind of boring probably, but let's go. Well, it's completely redesigned now. What they do is they put you into they strap you into a chair, and then they spin you around at G forces.
God, I
And
hate that.
And the problem with the G forces is that they tell you to keep your head against, don't lift your head off of the pad behind you because you will become disoriented. Well, I'm a huge tall guy, right? My head doesn't hit the pad. So I'm above the pad. So I'm trying to keep my head pressed back as we're going round and round and round. I did okay, but what I have to tell you is don't ride it twice in a row, because my stepson was like, "Oh, let's do that again. Let's do that again." So I said, "Okay, let's do it." G-forces twice in a row. It's not good. I did not feel good for the rest of that trip. Yeah, especially after I lifted my head off the back and learned how disoriented you can really get.
Oh my God.
So,
that's crazy.
Yeah.
But
Does
what?
a shot whiskey Wednesday? Anybody want to do a shot?
I'm not drinking tonight, but some
No.
people might want to.
Uh,
The toast. I'll cheers. I'll do a cheers with everybody.
Yeah, I will cheers you.
Yeah, he's
I left this in there for like 8 minutes. It is like just a campfire drink now.
Yeah, is it over infused now? I can see that being an
Yeah.
issue. Yeah.
It is definitely over infused. Yeah.
Then
Smoke
make,
with
let it marinate.
marshmallows inside of it.
Hold up. You know, probably a trick here to doing it to the happy medium.
Yeah, there's got to be a fine line there.
So Drew, I've been watching your progress with your book on Patreon and Facebook, and I think I follow you on everything. But how is it coming? Are you exhausted yet? I don't like how I've never written a book before, and this is what, your third? So
This is the third.
Yeah.
This is so different from the first two, though, because the first two, you went on a trip. Like, it took me 3 months to write the Irish book, and the reason was because I'd written the Kentucky book, and so some of it was just kind of revising for Ireland. Then it was doing the profiles of each of the distilleries. So it's all from personal experience, which is not that difficult to do. What's difficult when you write a book that's history is that you have to do all the research. Well, it took me, it was a year's worth of research, me going to archives and digging into stories and trying to find actual true information, which is, the more I did it, the more I started to realize that most bourbon writers do not do any of that work. They go find a book that somebody else wrote, and then they rewrite into whatever. So all the same myths and lore all get passed down, and so everybody's telling the same story. And so as I started digging into this, I'm like, holy cow, this is, I mean, I'm learning things about whiskey that nobody really has. I've never heard anybody talk about this stuff. And so so as I start working on the project, it's like, now this need to get this information out there is just driving me. And this book was supposed to be finished. My original goal was to have it finished writing wise by the 15th of June. So, but what happened was, I organized all my notes. I have 600 pages of notes that have all my documentation and everything, all of the stuff. And it's all, I basically put it into a format, said, what are my chapters going to be? Then I started taking it and just filling in all the details in for each chapter, saying, okay, next step is write the rough draft. All I got to do is go back to this original document, look through, and now I can just write my stories the way that I write my whiskey lore stories, which is to make them entertaining and try to, make them like little movies or whatever it may be. So I'm starting to do the writing, and I start to realize that I had only planned for 20 chapters, and now I need 30 chapters. So I'm growing this book as I go. It was supposed to be a 150-page book. It's now a 350-page book.
Well,
that's
exciting.
And that it
Do a
is.
part two.
It is.
Yeah,
So
yeah. Is that two parters?
no, it's not a two-parter. It's a one. So here's the thing. is that as I was going through, I was like, oh man, I have a chance to tell some stuff here that nobody really knows, like the history of the bottle. So I actually go in and talk about, I'm telling about the 1700s, and everybody's assumption is that if you watch, in fact, you can watch, I was watching the miniseries on Grant, on Ulysses S. Grant on the History Channel. They have a picture of him at Shiloh with a bottle of Old Crow. It says Old Crow on it. I'm like, oh, that is so not right, because they didn't bottle whiskey back then. It wasn't really bottled. I mean, they had bottles if you went into a saloon, but they were refilling the bottles. They weren't branded bottles. You were basically getting a barrel of whiskey that got put behind the bar. They would tap that barrel. They would then refill these bottles. And so I started learning stuff like, this is how much I was deep diving into it. In learning about the bottle, I was watching some videos from the 16th century, because this is when they really started making bottles more often. And I watched this guy on a 16th century piece of equipment making a bottle. And he basically they had to stoke the fires all night just to get the thing up to the right temperature for them to be able to work with this. And then when they were making the glass, basically what they were having to do was they'd pull them out on this rod, and then they would blow, and however much air you had was how big your bottle was going to end up being. And they always came out like thin and fragile. So I'm watching this, and then I'm like, well, how they put the handles and all this stuff on them? So I watched a video on Jamestown, which is supposed to be the same time period, but I'm watching it going, oh, you guys are full of it. You know, how many people go to Jamestown and they see this guy is making it look like it's authentic, but all he has to do is flip a switch and his fire's going, right? Yeah. He's got everything he needs to go. Those guys back then, they were doing some extremely dangerous work just to make a bottle. And what was interesting was it wasn't until the 1820s before the first bottles really started coming into the United States. And when they were making bottles, they were making flasks. They'd make little glass flasks,
like a hip flask or something.
Like
right?
a hip flask, yes. Put it in your pocket. And so what you would do is you would take your hip flask and you would go into the grocer, and you would have them fill your bottle of your little bottle, because they didn't have bottles; they just had barrels. So they're going to fill up your bottle that you brought in. And that was really the history up until I made the connection that in the 1850s, all of a sudden there was this big problem with adulterating whiskey and people putting in poison, strychnine, everything. There was a article I found out of Cincinnati that said that a scientist there tested 29 bottles of whiskey, and 28 of them had traces of strychnine in them.
Oh, okay. So
yeah. So they were.
Crazy.
Yeah. So really the bottle came about as a way to protect people against that kind of messing around with a whiskey, because if you think about it, prior to that, everybody was making their own. There weren't distributors. Everybody lived on a farm. So everybody just had their own still. There was no tax man, because the taxes didn't start until the Civil War. So other than that little brief period of the Whiskey Rebellion. But then I dug back and I realized Davy Crockett was a distiller. Andrew Jackson was a distiller. All of these people who are like Tennessee legends had involvement in distilling. So I had to jump in and research them as well, and stretch their stories as well. So what's funny about this is you think about Tennessee whiskey history, you think about any bourbon book that you might read, and you think, okay, well, if I'm reading a book on bourbon history, they kind of gloss over the 18th and 19th century pretty quickly to get into the 20th century and then talk about this book. I'm on chapter 20 and we're still pre-prohibition. So that's the kind of research that I've done on this book. So it's going to be interesting.
Yeah. Well, I can't wait to read it, man. I'm very excited for it. And just watching your progress, it's making me more and more excited, because I know of, all the hard work you're putting into it. And I'm excited. I can't wait. Do you have
definitely
Yeah.
Do you have a timeline of when you? I mean, I know you said you wanted to be done writing it 2 months ago, but
Yeah.
So
No,
you
I
probably-
think I can truly say now everything's written. The rough draft is all done. And so my process right now is that I am taking the rough draft, I am massaging it just to get everything in order. Like for instance, today I almost did a complete rewrite on chapter 20 because as I was reading it, I was like, this just isn't really entertaining. And I mean, it's giving a lot of great information, but it's kind of boring. It just needs some life. And it started out that it was going to be a chapter about how there were fires in Lincoln County where basically teetotalers were setting distilleries on fire. But there was also a story about a female distiller that was a really interesting story that nobody really knows about, that was talking about that too. And something else. It's like all this disjointed information. So I decided to scrap and put the fire stuff into the next chapter and then rewrite this other chapter. And so now that chapter is devoted completely to the 4 female distillery owners in Tennessee in the 1890s.
No, that's
So yeah, so it all kind of works now together. And then I went on and it's funny because now that's only a 9-page chapter, whereas it was a 12-page chapter. But now the chapter leading up to Prohibition was a 12-page chapter. Now it's an 18-page chapter. So yeah, but that's an important time period, and it's hard to skip over that or condense it. So anyway, it's packed in terms of information. So it's so it won't be boring, but I do have to say that if you're not a fan of just general history, the first section up to about chapter 8 might be a little boring because it talks about distilling, it talks about different aspects of distilling, but most of what I talk about in there is like I tell Davy Crockett's life story and how his dad had a tavern and how he got into distilling himself later on. But it's really kind of, Tennessee's history is so absolutely fascinating that I could probably write a Tennessee history book and make it as entertaining as I think I'm gonna make the whiskey book. So
yeah.
So you're recommending we start on like page 110.
If
if
don't
you
like
want to,
it.
if you don't like just history, yes, I would say, but what you will end up missing is kind of who was Tennessee's first distiller. And
right, of course, yeah.
I bounce around a little bit in terms of what's fascinating about this book, and I didn't intend to do this, but it's just worked out this way. All of a sudden, it's like I get, 50 years later, and I'm referencing back to people that I talked about at the beginning of the book. And it makes sense that I talk about them again because they had an impact on the people in the future. And I think, honestly, like I say, these are Whiskey Lore Stories episodes. Think of it like I'm writing basically 32 Whiskey Lore Stories episodes and putting them into a book because they're educational, but they're also meant to be entertaining. So the idea is I tell the story of a Pennsylvania. It starts off in Pennsylvania, basically, where this guy who owns a tavern ends up murdering six local tribe members who are in his bar, and he ends up being a fugitive from the law. And then as you're reading through the book, it's like he just disappears. You're like, okay, what happened to him? Now we're talking about Tennessee. What's going on? But that's what I do in my Whiskey Lore Stories. It'll come back around. There'll be a point where you're like, oh, that's what happened to him. Okay, interesting. I did a story on a revenuer, and it was really interesting because as I was this was the experience I had in researching. Was I found this guy, his name is John L. Spurrier, and I saw that name Spurrier, and I went, I can't root for the Florida Gators because I never could stand Steve Spurrier as a coach. So I see that name Spurrier, and I'm instantly like turned off on this guy.
No.
All right, so I'm reading about him, And he's one of these guys like Wyatt Earp or Bat Masterson, or he's basically a lawman, but he is, all the papers love writing about him and his exploits and things that he's doing as a revenuer in Tennessee. And I was reading through, and I got to I was pulling ahead a couple of years, and I saw his name come up again, and I saw he died, and I'm like, he died? How did he die? Now I have to go back and look. And as I went back and I started looking, I was like, wow. It was like, as I was researching it, I was reading a novel or watching a movie that I was unveiling the answers of things as I was doing the research. And it was such a powerful story. It was like, oh God, I have to tell this story this way. There's no way I could do this without. So I kind of bounce around in the story the same way that I researched the story, because kind of like watching a movie like Memento or 21 Grams or one of those where the movie's kind of out of order, or Pulp Fiction.
Yeah.
Sometimes you can weave a story that way and actually create more impact than if you just told it in a linear fashion. So yeah. So like I say, it's meant to keep you, it's meant to grab you and hold on to you. And there may be a couple of chapters where you're like, okay, he's just kind of giving me facts and figures.
I kind of like
but
that,
I try not.
I'm interested.
Do you?
We can only assess that when it's ready and we can read it through.
Yeah.
Yes. And I don't want to give away too many spoilers, but if you're like me, I'll hear a spoiler. But if I don't watch the thing right away or read the thing right away, I forget the spoiler.
Yeah. That's awesome. Well, I'm very excited about it. If you guys want to, watch him on this journey, he also has a Patreon, so go check him out over there. It's the Whiskey Lore podcast, wherever you get your podcast,
Definitely.
also called the Whiskey Lore. And you also have a couple of books out too, experiencing the Irish whiskey and Kentucky bourbon, which is really great. I own both, and I can't wait to own the third. But go check out Drew and everything he does. It's amazing. I love watching it. I love your little stories too that you put out. Like if something's in the news about whiskey, you like do like a quick 10-minute rant on it. Like when that article came out about the ship that was sunk with it supposedly like 500. I forget what it was, and you were just like, as a history person, you're like, none of this makes sense. And it turns out what you concluded to is it's probably just flour in those barrels. You know what I mean? Like I love all that stuff that you throw on your Patreon. So go subscribe to Drew. It's fun stuff. Anyway, it's almost that time. I got to get going, but I just want to say thank you guys for being Patreon members. Thank you for supporting us. A couple of fun events we have coming up. Every Saturday, we're at the Auburn Downtown Market. Nice. It's really great getting to know everyone in the Auburn area and slinging some whiskey. We love it. We are open on Fridays. Everyone knows that. In October, we'll be open on Saturdays. We're expanding hours, which is great. And of course, the big news is we're going to be at the New York State Fair this year, which is awesome. And we'll be there on the 23rd and 24th, all day and all night. And depending on time, you'll see 1, 2, or all 3 of us there. We're all going to be working those days. So come by. If you're going to be seeing, I think George Thorogood is playing one of those days. So if you're going to see some bourbon, some scotch, and 1 beer or whatever he said, come have some whiskey with us while you watch George Thorogood. And a lot of bands playing, you guys know about the New York State Fair. It's wild, but we're excited to be there. We're in the horticulture building at the Taste New York booth. And I think we may have some cocktail samples too. I don't know. We're figuring all that stuff out. But and if you come to any of these events or come to our shop, we have some samples of possibly a new product we want you guys to try and taste and see if you like it. We're kind of focus grouping it right now. So
Why are you making that so secretive when I have no idea what you're talking about?
I know. And the thing is, I don't want people. I don't want. I want people to taste it. We did something in a strange way that we've never seen anyone do before. Maybe Drew has seen it before, but I could just tell you guys, even though we're live, but I kind of want people to try it before I tell them what's it all about, to see if they can kind of guess
I
it.
don't know what you're talking about.
So we took some we smoked some applewood chips, and then we let that sit for a while, and it became something that we were like, what is this? And then we're just trying to see what people think of it, and it's got some wild notes in it.
Where are you?
You can have it at our shop. You've also tried it. You're part of the Patreon. You voted on an Applewood.
Yeah, you've had this whiskey.
You had it. Yeah.
I've like been in possession of it.
Okay, it's probably in your fridge, in your butter.
in
cabinet.
there.
Next to the Twisted Tea.
Through
Yeah.
all
But
the
we're kind of tasting. People are like, "Oh, this kind of is like Scotch-like. It's very smoky, and it's very good." And we want to see what everyone else thinks of it. So come to the fair, come to the shop, come try it if you haven't already, and let us know what you think. It needs some tweaking. That's the thing about chips; it doesn't take very long to age in small batches. So it's fun to experiment with. So
Next week, you
come take.
have to go to the fair.
Come to the fair, yes, Tony. Come to the fair. Anyways, I gotta get going. Thank you guys so much. Oh wait, what?
And I plan to go to the fair like 5 or 6 different days.
Nice.
That's good.
when
We'll
you're
make
there.
sure one of them is either the first or second day, because that's when we'll be there.
Yes.
Well, good luck with it.
Thanks.
Room ground is so clean and crisp. Like, I think next time I'm gonna need you to move into a different room because I need to know what your other spaces look like. Because that one looks for me. Like, look at that. Like, what?
How he's a professional podcaster. He has the nice equipment. He's got the you gotta use your phone next time in a dark room in a weird angle.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I've done that for so long. I'm kind of like happy that I actually do have a setup now. So,
Wednesday. I need a different. I need your Whiskey Wednesday vibe. Not
okay.
your professional
Well,
podcast vibe.
If you go to YouTube,
Vicious. I'm just saying.
yeah. Well, if you go to YouTube, you can go see my whiskey parlor, which is where I do my recording of my tastings on YouTube.
I'm
So,
really just trying to set this up so that you could have an extra plug.
yeah, there
See,
you go. Do my recording of my tastings on YouTube.
I'm really trying to set this up so that you can have an extra plug.
Yeah, there you go.
So we're watching this beautiful pool table. What is he? Are these deleted Star Wars characters?